Hey, listen, let me ask you something, everybody. Have you ever gone on a trip that was awesome, but you went alone? Ooh, I just felt some angry pushback. Parents are like, I wish I could go on a trip alone. Moms are like, I wish I could go to the bathroom alone. Okay, I get it. I understand. But there's going to come a day where you're going to be able to go on a trip alone, and it is going to be amazing as long as it's not like alone. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember a couple of years ago, I did a wedding in Estes, Colorado. And so I went out to, Colorado, and it was beautiful. And it was really the first time that I had been there. And so I was there for a couple of days, but I got there and I'm like, I'm alone. This is nice. And then I got there and I'm alone and this isn't so nice. It's beautiful, but it's terrible. You know what I mean? And I realized in that moment that while I used to dream about being away and just being alone, I mean, when you got 4 kids, any chance you can get away to be alone is amazing. But I realized in that moment that when you go to enjoy something significant, there's someone that you want to be with you. You want to share those incredible moments with someone that's significant to you, right? I remember being in the mountains and doing my best to get service so that I could FaceTime Carrie so that we could experience the moment together. And it was okay, but it wasn't great because there's no cell service. And so I had to experience it alone. How many of y'all have ever been to one of the Husker games? The thing that I love about going to Husker Athletics is that no matter if you go alone or not, you're never alone because you're friends with everybody around you. But I was at the volleyball game on Friday evening, and I couldn't help but see there was this one guy he was sitting across the stadium from me, and he seemingly was alone because every time that we would score, like people are high-fiving, you know what I mean? Woof, woof, all the stuff, right? All the stuff. But there's this one guy, and he's just like by himself. And I'm like, brother, you ain't even enjoying this. What are we doing? Because life at its best is meant to be lived together. And I think that there's some principles that we can draw from this portion of Scripture in 1 Samuel chapter 9 that will encourage us in some relationship practices. Does that sound good, everybody? So here we go. Let's jump in 1 Samuel chapter number 9 so that we can all get caught up and be together. Verse number 1 says this: There was a wealthy and influential man named Kish from the tribe of Benjamin. He was the son of Abiel, son of Zeror, son of Becorath, son of Aphiah, all of the tribe of Benjamin. His son, so Kish's son Saul, was the most handsome man in all of Israel. We all decided that I was the most handsome man of all of Mercy City that gets on stage today. Thank you, Aaron and Jake and Brandon, for letting me take that, even though, Derek, thank you. Well, Derek. No, I'm joking. So we always joke around here because, Derek can look handsome without a beard. I have to keep my beard to just even, right? I'm the most handsome man on stage at Mercy City today. Anyway. Not in all of Israel. Head and shoulders taller than anyone else in the land. And one day, Kish's donkeys strayed away, and he told Saul, take a servant with you and go look for the donkey. So I got 4 thoughts today on friendships. 4 thoughts on friendship. Number 1 thought is this: we need friends. Look at your neighbor and say, we need friends. Wives, look at your husbands and say, you need friends. Husbands, look at your wives and say, you need friends. You should go to Sisterhood on Thursday. That'll be awesome. Listen to me, everybody. We were not created to do life alone. Life at its best. Every wedding that I officiate, I say this line without fail. Life at its best is intended to be lived together in covenant relationship. Okay? And I believe that with all my heart, that we're not created to do life alone. I think it's interesting that the father's instruction to Saul was, hey, you're going to go on this trip. You're going to go on this mission. I've got something for you to accomplish, but I don't want you to go alone. I want you to take a friend with you. It's as if Kish knew something that Saul didn't know. He encouraged him in friendship. When you get encouraged into Connect Track, it's as if the Father knows something that maybe you don't know about life. When you get encouraged to get into a city group, it's as if maybe the Father knows something about your journey that you don't know yet. That you might need some relationships next week or next month or next year that you don't currently have, so that you don't have to go alone. Because life at its best is not lived alone. All of this encouragement that we make here around consistency, it's so that you don't go alone. Because the Father knows something about your world. He knows something about your journey. He knows something about your life that you currently don't know, that I don't currently know. God encouraged me in relationships, and he encouraged me in friendships. He knew something about my journey that I didn't know. He knew that after I planted the church, that the feeling of being alone, the feeling of being overwhelmed, the feeling of being pushed to my limits, he knew that I would walk myself into a place where I had a heart attack in 2017. He knew that I would need to be surrounded by people that could help us carry the church forward when I needed to pull back and not do what I had always done. Do you hear what I'm saying? God knew where my journey was going, even when I didn't know where my journey was going. And he encouraged me in relationships to backfill or to help sustain so I could continue on. Does that make sense, everybody? So let me encourage you with this. Don't go alone. Alone you can go fast, but together you can go far. Okay? Now, I know that culturally we want to just go fast, go fast, go fast, go fast. But the reality is we want to last long. We want to be in this for a while. We want to be in this for the long haul. That's why I say to all of our team all the time, I'm like, guys, let's do this together for a long time. I learned that I can go fast alone, but together we'll be able to sustain for a while. So let me encourage you, don't go alone. Don't isolate, don't retreat, don't pull back. How many times have you heard, or maybe you've even said, well, I'm just trying to figure some things out. I'm just going to step back so I can figure some things out. That should be a red flag. God designed you and I to have a need to be in relationship with somebody because he knows that together we're better. He knows that you see some of my blind spots and that I see some of yours. And that as you sit across the people in your city group, they see the blind spots in you and you in them. We make each other better. You're not supposed to do life alone. God designed us as people to need people around us. Don't go alone. The second thought on friendships is this, or relationships is this. We need friends in pivotal moments. We need friends in pivotal moments. We need friends in the big moments of our lives. It's not okay to be alone when the major moments of your life are taking place. In this story, I think it's interesting that we don't really hear about the servant until the stuff goes down. You know what I'm saying? Until Saul is ready to quit. I mean, he goes and he gets the servant, but then they travel all over the place, and you look at that a little bit. But then when Saul's like, oh, you know what? I'm ready to throw in the towel. Let's just go back. That's when the servant steps up, and you really begin to hear about him. 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 5 says this, finally they entered the region of Zuph, and Saul said to his servant, let's go home. By now my father will be more worried about us than he is the donkeys. And that's when the friend stepped up and said, no, I heard about a guy. Y'all hear what I'm talking about? You need a friend in your life that will be there in those pivotal moments, that'll be able to step up when you want to quit, when you want to give up and say, nah, I know you feel like you want to quit. I know things are tough, and I know you feel overwhelmed, but the reality of the situation is you got what it takes. You hear what I'm saying? You got what it takes. Or they'll remind you of the things that you have listed out as the priorities for your world. When things get loud and things get noisy, they help you reduce back down to what did God say to you? What really matters the most in your world? I think this is a lot like the friendships of our world too, though. I know it's friendships in my life. It's like, I almost wonder sometimes, do I have any friends? And then all of a sudden, when stuff goes down, people come and they're just there to surround and just to be a part and say, okay, hey, I'm here. I'm in this with you. You don't really hear about the friend until you need a friend. You don't really experience the power of a friend until you feel like you need a friend. Because friends sometimes are just kind of there, aren't they? Kind of waiting in the wings almost. And that's when they show up, when you find you need them the most. Maybe it's just when you're feeling broken and you're finally looking at the fact that you need a friend. We all need friends in pivotal moments. Anybody ever been in a tough situation and you just wanted somebody to validate you in that situation? Yeah. Can I tell you something about a friend that's with you in a pivotal moment? They won't validate you in the midst of your tough moment. What they'll do is they'll encourage you in the things that God told you. I would encourage you to watch last week's message, talking a little bit about friends in those pivotal moments. The third area that we need friends, we all need good friends. We need friends in the pivotal moments, but we also need friends in the mundane moments. And this is the reality of our world, everybody. We all need friends at all times. I think a common misconception is that in order to have a good friendship, we must be doing amazing things all the time. You know what I mean? Like, in order for me to have a really good marriage, I got to be going to Estes all the time. I got to be going, to Wrigley all the time. I got to be doing all these amazing things all the time. But the reality of a good, true friendship is that they are there with you in those pivotal moments. But the thing that gives them credibility in the pivotal moments is the fact that they've been there in the mundane moments too, isn't it? Come on, man. Somebody who's asking about your Monday, not just about your payday. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Somebody who's asking about your Wednesday morning, not just the highlight of your life. They're there in the mundane moments, the people that you might overlook because, well, we don't ever do anything really significant together. You know what I love about my kids? My kids have taught me this. Because when I was their age, I was so insecure in myself, I had to always be doing the next thing. I had to always be out. I had to always be going for something. And so my kids taught me this because they'll go hang out and they'll do crazy stuff and have lots of fun. But the majority of their world is, like last night, we had a house full of young people just sitting on we have a small house, everybody, too small for all the friends that God gave our kids. So Lord, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want a bigger house because then you got to clean the bigger house. So I don't know what we need to do, but anyway. So they're sitting all over, sitting on the floor. You know, they're like 8 deep on the couch and, you know what I'm saying, and like messing our stuff up and all this. We're watching volleyball and having a good time. And I'm like, brother, do you want to sit on the chair? And he's like, no, I'm good sitting on the floor. I'm like, good, because I didn't want to give up my chair anyway. But here's the reality of what I am learning about our kids is that they're secure enough in their relationships to have friends alongside them in those pivotal big moments, but it's because they also hang out and spend time and they're together in the mundane moments, the moments that don't seem to really matter. But it's those moments that bring the credibility to the major moments, where somebody has the credibility to step up and speak into your world when you're really going through it. So don't just live from highlight reel to highlight reel. I think that is where life really, really, really happens. Don't underestimate the power of small or ordinary, seemingly mundane moments. If we're not careful, everybody, we will buy into the cultural lie that our social media platform culture has been feeding us all the while. And that's this: life is only post-worthy moments. It's not. Life is not only the post-worthy moments. Life is also the moments that are in between post-worthy moments as well. Some of the best moments that I've ever experienced were riding in the car with my kids, asking them about their day. How was school? What'd you learn? Who'd you talk to? Who are your friends? Some of the best moments of my world have been, hey, what's happening now? What's going on in your world right now? What's coming up? What do you believe in God for? What are you trusting God for? At the dinner table, we always sit at the dinner table whenever we're able to do this, and we ask, hey, what are the highs of your day? What were the lows? Not just the highs, not just the lows, but what were the highs and the lows? Let's talk about it all. Those are the moments that I'm talking about. It was when we tucked them in at night, not trying to hurry through it, but hey, who can we pray for in your world? What are you learning about? You're learning about their day. You learn about their friends. You learn about what's important to them. These mundane moments lead to those pivotal moments, being able to have a voice in their world. And then asking, hey, how can I pray for you? And it's not just your kids. This is with your spouses. This is with your friends. This is with people that you're trying to build relationship with. The moments that really matter are the moments before or after the meeting, the moments before or after the practice, before or after the game, before or after the service, before or after the city group. What about the road trip on the way to the business meeting or on the way to the game? Those moments that we just want to hurry through and we want to bypass. What about the impromptu McDonald's meetups? I don't do that so much anymore, but that's what my kids go with. And I'm like, that's so weird. But guys, when's the last time, you old folks, when's the last time you did something impromptu? When was the last time that spur of the moment you just decided, hey, let's go spend some time, not on purpose, like I got to have a reason, I got to have a purpose. No. What about just the moments that are mundane, that might not be pivotal or life-changing, that actually are pivotal and life-changing? We need friends in the mundane as well. Fourth and final thought is this: we need good friends. Let me say good friends. Because good friends will help us leverage where we have lack. 1 Samuel chapter 9 says this, verse 7. But we don't have anything to offer, Saul replied. Even our food is gone. We don't have anything to give. Well, the servant said, I have one small silver piece. We can at least offer the man of God that and see what happens. Saul's friend had the money to get into the meeting that Saul didn't have. Saul didn't have the money, but he had the friend who had the money. Have you ever talked yourself out of something because you didn't have what you thought it took to get yourself in the door? And you didn't realize that God had actually surrounded you with a good friend that has the thing that you need to get in the door. He just did it in the way of friendship, relationship, rather than doing it in the way of resources for you. The resource he gave you was the friend that he surrounded you with. See, we buy the lie that makes us think we have to have all the resources and we have to have all the stuff. But the reality is, God intended us to do life together. So he's not going to give me all that I need so that I can be self-sufficient, because if I'm completely self-sufficient, then I'm God and he's not. What God does is he surrounds me with people who will help me be complete, so that I can leverage my giftedness in their life on their behalf, and they can leverage their giftedness or resources in my life on my behalf. And together, we're better. Wait. So that's not just something that we say, we actually believe. We actually believe that we're better together. We actually believe it. And we believe that good friends are necessary to help leverage their giftedness to put you in the position God has called you to. See, a good friend in our life, they can see our need and cover our lack by leveraging what they have. Providing strength when we're weak, faith when we're faithless, hope when we're hopeless, encouragement when we're discouraged, maybe money when we're broke. Can I tell you something, people of Nebraska? Listen to me. Stop being prideful. And can I tell you what it actually is? It's false humility. Where you say, oh, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Secretly, you're wishing that they would do that. But you're saying out loud, you don't have to do that. Can I tell you what that is? That's false humility, which is equated to pride. Stop being prideful. Stop doing that falsely humble thing. Can I tell you what that is? It is garbage, everybody. It's literally garbage. If they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. Just like if you didn't want to do something, then you wouldn't do it. And if they don't want to do it, but they do it anyway, then that's between them and God, not you and them. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're not twisting anybody's arm. Let a good friend be a blessing to your life. If they want to help you out, let them help you out, because they might see a blind spot or a weakness that you don't see, but they're going to leverage their influence to make way for your lack. Because contrary to what we're taught, men especially, you don't have all of what it takes. God is surrounding you with friendship, or wants to surround you with good friends so that you can be encouraged. So here are a few friendly action steps. A few friendly action steps. Y'all ready? There's 3 of them. They're coming fast, and we're going to get out of here. Y'all ready for this? Lean forward, everybody. Come on. Come on. Stewart, I see you Monday evening. Let's go. Here we go. A few friendly action steps. Find friends who encourage you. Find friends who encourage you. If they don't encourage you, cut them off, or at the very least, limit the amount of influence that they have in your world. Some of the relationships you can't cut off. Maybe right now you're being discouraged by a spouse. You can't cut that relationship off, but you can limit the amount of influence. Maybe it's a parent. You can't cut that off, but you can limit the amount of influence. Maybe it's a child. Do you hear what I'm saying? Find relationships that encourage you. Who do you leave spending time with and you're like, I'm going to go charge hell with a water pistol right now. I'm so encouraged. Man, you better look out. I will throat punch the devil in 2 seconds. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You need to hang out with those people. You need to find out a way to get in their presence more often than not. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And the people who discourage you, you need to fewer and further in between. The guy that always calls and like, hey, you want to go to lunch or coffee, and then you leave and you're like, I think the devil's going to throat punch me in 2 seconds. Don't make a lot of room for that. Cut those things off. Be encouraged. Find friends who encourage you. The second thought is this: lean into those friendships. When you find those friendships, lean into them. Pursue them. Pursue them. Can I tell you something? Especially men. Well, it's women too. It's everybody. Don't you get a little embarrassed when you're like, man, I need a friend. I remember at a conference, it was 2 years ago. I walked up to this guy, and I was like, hey, man, my name's Matt. He's like, hey, Matt, meets me. I said, hey, I know this is going to be weird, but I want you to be my friend. And he was like, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. He said, bro, I've been praying for a friend. I said, you're kidding. I have 2. And I said, I thought that was about to be the weirdest conversation I had ever encountered, and it turned out to be awesome. Can I tell you something? People are feeling the same thing that you're feeling. We just need somebody to be bold enough to act on what we're feeling. Lean into those relationships. Once you've identified those friends who encourage you, lean into them, pursue them, and tell them, hey, I'm about to be your friend. You encourage me, and you're going to be my friend. I will buy you lunch, and next time you're buying me lunch. You know what I'm saying? And now you're buying me lunch again. I'll get you next time. Find those relationships and lean into them. Don't shy away from them. Don't be too cool for them. Learn how to be vulnerable. And say, man, I just need a friend. I just need somebody to hang with. I just need somebody to speak into my life. I just need somebody to listen to me and tell me I'm crazy. Because this is the third thought on an action step is don't choose friends based on the counsel that they give. See, some of us choose friends because they will validate our excuses and our low points. Don't do that. Some of us choose friends because they tell us what we want to hear rather than what we need to hear. Can I tell you what a good friend will do? A good friend will tell you the truth even when you don't agree with the truth. A good friend will tell you what benefits you even if it doesn't benefit them. See, because most people, we're too selfish to really tell somebody the truth. Because I still want you to like me, so I tell you what you want to hear. but that's about me and not about you. That's not a good friend. So you can't choose friends solely based on their counsel. You've got to choose friends based on the truth that they will deliver you. You need to choose friends based on the fact that somebody will look at you and tell you, you are full of crap. You are making a terrible decision in this season. I know you feel justified, but you're not. This is sin. And then you smile. Take it or leave it, man. If you love it, you love it. If you hate it, you hate it. But me as a friend, I'm going to be true to God first. And you need to find friends who will be true to God first. Because if they'll be true to God first, they'll be true to you. You hear what I'm saying? You cannot choose a friend based on counsel. You have to choose a friend based on truth. So listen, stand up on your feet, everybody. If you didn't get anything else from this morning's message, I want you to understand that donkey missions are not meant for isolation. They're not to be done alone. They're meant to be done together. Here's the difficult thing about even church life. It's hard to do relationship together if you're not tracking in relationship with Jesus. The reality is, the thing that bonds people in this room, here in Lincoln, in Seward, on Monday evening, the thing that bonds us together is relationship and pursuit of Jesus. Because there are people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, in all different futures that God's going to do. But the thing that brings us together is relationship with Jesus. You ever got in a relationship with somebody and you realize, oh man, we're not heading in the same direction. And as much as I like you, we're just not tracking in the same way. The only way that we can ensure that is if we're pursuing Jesus. And the thing that's most important for us is that God sent Jesus so that we could track in relationship with him and not be alone. Some of us, man, have turned our backs on Jesus. Some of us have said we're going to do our own thing. And some of us have felt alone in the midst of it. But the Bible tells us that Jesus is a friend. The Bible goes on to say that he sticks closer than a brother. He'll never leave and never forsake. So if you're feeling far disconnected from Jesus, you just got to make a decision. I'm not doing this alone anymore. I'm going to step back into relationship with him. Maybe I started listening to some counsel that was not true. Separated you. It's time to come back close to Jesus.